Hookloopsarah. Today I'm showing you how to make the aqua summer dress in cotton. I promise this project is really extremely easy to do, but very impressive and satisfying. For this project I've used 50 grams balls of 100% cotton yarn. It's 100% organic Egyptian cotton called Baby Cotton Midi by Hobby Yarn, and a 3.5 millimeters hook. So let's begin. So the dress is made of two panels sewn together, worked bottom up. So this is the first panel, which is already completed and is worked from the bottom. So we will begin from here. I will now begin with the second panel that is going to be identical to the first one I've shown you. So here I am with my yarn, and I will begin with a magic ring, which I do like this. Okay, and we will work inside that magic ring. First 3 chains that count as a double crochet, then 2 more double crochets, 1, 2, then chain 2 and 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and this is, let's say, row number 1. We will now close the ring, tighten it like this, but do not cut off yarn yet. Okay, this is not going to be cut off, otherwise at the end of the project it could come loose. Okay, so row number 2, we will begin with a chain 3 again that counts as 1 DC. Then we will turn our work and work all the way here. So we begin with an increase. So first chain of 3 counts as first DC. Then we will work further 2 double crochets in the same stitch here. So 1 and 2, for a total of 3 double crochets in the same initial stitch. Then we will work 2 double crochets on the 2 double crochets we have of previous row below. So 1 and 2, then in this space between clusters of stitches we will make other increases. That is to say, we will work 2 more double crochets here in the space, like so, then chain 2, 1, 2, and another 2 double crochets here in the space. And this is going to be like this, so a total of 4 increases plus, well, separated by 2 chains in this space between clusters of stitches. Then we will work specularly and symmetrically on the other side of the space, let's say. That is to say, we will need to work 2 double crochets on the 2 double crochets of previous row, 1 and 2, just like we did on the other side of the space. And here at the end, on the final stitch, we will make again 3 double crochets. So just here, 1, 2, and the third double crochet for me is an extended one. That is to say, I just yarn over and pull through 1 loop only first, then yarn over and pull through 2, finally yarn over and pull through last 2. But you can make a normal standard double crochet as well. I just do it in order to have this base here of this triangle a little flatter and longer. Okay, so this is row number 2 again. So in row number 3 we will start with the pattern. So this is what I've worked so far, the first 2 rows, 1 and 2. And now on row number 3 I will begin with different rows patterns. So as you see, I have a row pattern with gaps, which I will call the gap pattern. Then I have a pattern with popcorn stitches, so I will call it the popcorn pattern. And finally I have a row done with puff stitches, which I will call, of course, the puff pattern. Okay, so here let's start with the gap pattern, the first one. So I will always begin in the same way with an increase. So I start with my chain 3, which counts as the first double crochet of the next row. Then I turn and work another 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and this is done regardless of the row pattern we are going to work. Now we will start with the gap pattern. So I will start with a chain 1, which is the gap between double crochets, skipping 1 stitch below and inserting the hook, making a double crochet in the following stitch. Okay, chain 1, double crochet, skipping the next stitch in the following stitch, chain 1, skip stitch and insert hook in the next stitch, which is the final one before the space. Okay, here I've reached the space between the parts, let's say the middle space, in which, as I said previously, we will work as always 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets, and this will always be the same throughout the project. Here I'm going to work symmetrically what I did here. So I start with a double crochet here, chain 1, skip 1 stitch below, double crochet next stitch, chain 1, skip, then double crochet next stitch. Now chain 1, skip stitch, and in our final stitch we are going to work just like here and just like before, 3 double crochets here, we will insert the hook in the 3rd chain from the center, 1, 2 and 3, and that's row number 3 already. Now row number 4, chain 3, counts as 1 to C, I turn, another 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Okay, so here, as you see, I always alternate my pattern rows with a simple DC row. So a row in which I will very simply just work in double crochet along, okay? It would be this row here. Just pay attention not to miss any stitches, because you have to have the same number before the space and after the space. This is the only thing that you need to pay attention to throughout this project, which is otherwise very, very simple, as you are seeing. So very simply work in double crochet. Here we will work a double crochet in the space, so where we had the chain 1 spaces on previous row. Here on top of the double crochet space, it is a good idea to count stitches as you work them, so as to know exactly how many stitches come on the other side, so as not to make mistakes. Here we have 3, 1, 2, and 3 before the space, and as always we will make an increase of 2 double crochets in the space, separated by chain 2 and another 2 double crochet in the space, and then we will work all the way across in double crochet. Let's not forget my last double crochet of the row, which is the chain 3 one here, in which I will make my increase and work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. The last one is an extended one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, row number 5, chain 3, turn, another 2 double crochets in the same stitch, 1, 2. Time for another pattern, another row pattern. What do we have? So it's the popcorn pattern here. I will show you how to make it. So I have my 3 double crochets. I begin immediately with a popcorn, which is done like this. So yarn over, insert the hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and make a double crochet. Make 5 double crochets, a total of 5 double crochets in the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you elongate a little bit your yarn that's on the hook. You bring the hook out of it. Then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets. Insert the hook in the first one again. Then in the loop you left from the last double crochet, then you pull through and have your popcorn. Okay, do not yarn over and pull through again, just leave it like that. Our popcorn stitch is followed by 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now another popcorn stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Bring out, elongate, bring out the hook, count 5 stitches back and insert the hook under the first and inside the loop you left on the last stitch, and then do not yarn over, but just pull through directly, and that's our second popcorn. And then you know how to work again. So 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and another popcorn stitch. Okay, so here I have made my 4th popcorn stitch of the row. Here I am approaching the space here, the arch. So I have one DC left to work here on the border of my part here. Then I will always work my space the same. So 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So the middle space is always free of any pattern, is always worked the same. Now I will work the very same on this part here. That is to say, in order to make it symmetrical, I needed to start with a double crochet here and then work my popcorn stitches followed by 3 double crochets, just like I did before the middle space. So here I am at the end of the row, so I have one last popcorn stitch left to work. 1, and on the last stitch, which is not so clearly visible, but you know it's there, it's our previous chain of 3, we will work as usual our 3 double crochets to finish the row. That was row number 5. Now, as I said before, each pattern row is alternated with a simple row in double crochet, which I'm going to do now. So I begin with my chain 3, turn, and 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Okay, just work on the stitches, in the stitches as you find them, and you should have no problems and make no mistakes. So here is our puff stitch. Okay, so I will continue working in double crochet across, working the usual increase pattern in the middle space, and I will see you at the end of the row. So this is my row completed with my 3 last double crochets in last stitch. Now this simple row is followed by a gap pattern row, as you see here. Okay, so I will start as usual with my chain 3, turn, work my 3 double crochets in the same stitch, and just like before my gap pattern, I will start with a chain 1, skip 1 stitch below, work a double crochet in following stitch, and so on, chain 1. As always, following the increase pattern in the middle space and without making any particular pattern there. So I will work all the way here and then work another simple row in double crochet after this one, and then I will see you on row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, on row 9 for the final row pattern, the puff pattern. So here I have worked 2 further rows, one in gap pattern and one in regular DC. And now the 4th pattern, or the 3rd pattern, which is the puff pattern. So chain 3, turn, three DCs. Here's my increase completed. Now I will make a puff stitch into the next stitch. So I yarn over, insert the hook once, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, insert the hook a second time, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, insert the hook a 3rd time, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, insert the hook a 4th and final time, yarn over and pull through. That's my puff stitch, yarn over and pull through all of those loops together. This time I yarn over and pull through 2 here. The puff stitch is followed by 2 simple double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we'll make another puff stitch here just like we did here. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, pull through those loops together, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops together, and that's my puff stitch completed. And this is how I will proceed across. So just remember, we will separate each popcorn stitch by 3 double crochets, but we will separate each puff stitch with 2 double crochets only. So I'll proceed across like this, always leaving the middle space free of patterns and keeping on increasing there. And I will see you at the end of this row. So here I have completed my puff patterned row, this one, followed by a simple row in double crochet. So how do I proceed from here? You should proceed by alternating the pattern as I've given you. So now, after my simple row in double crochet, I will start from the beginning again and make a gap pattern row, followed by a simple DC row, followed by a popcorn pattern row, followed by a simple DC row, followed by another gap pattern row, then DC row, then puff pattern row, then simple DC row, and so on and so forth. And you should keep on increasing here in the center space and here at the beginning and at the end of each row. How long should you keep on increasing? Well, consider this the base of our triangle here. Okay, this is the length you need to keep under control, because this should be as long as your the widest part of your torso or body is. That is to say, if you take the circumference of your figure of your body at its widest, so it's usually at the bust place or on the hips, you should measure the circumference and consider half of it. So for my dress here, I am working on a model that has a circumference of 86 centimeters. So this gap here, this base here in my finished panel is exactly 43 centimeters long, which is half of 86 centimeters, half the circumference of my model. Okay, so this is how long you should proceed. So take your measures and go on working as I've shown you, and now I will show you what to do when you stop increasing. So here I am at row 12. I've reached my desired length, which is about 43 centimeters. So now I don't need any more increases, but I need to proceed without increases, and I'll show you how. So here I start my next row as usual with a chain 3 that counts as stitch number 1. I turn my work, but instead of making another increase as I did so far, I will make a decrease. That is to say, I will work the next 3 stitches together, which are going to be 3 double crochets. So this is the first, this is the second. So I insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through 2. I leave this loop on the hook, then I yarn over again and insert the hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I can make my decrease by yarning over and pulling through those through loops together, and I have my decrease. Okay, so these 3 stitches count as 1 stitch, and from here on we will repeat the pattern, which in this case is a popcorn pattern row. So I begin with my popcorn stitch, and I will proceed this way until my middle space, where I will continue to make my usual increases. So I will see you until the end of the row, where I will show you how to make the last decrease. So here I am approaching the end of the row. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left to work. Okay, so I still have 1 popcorn stitch to do. Remember, the 2 sides of the row should always be symmetrical specularly. So here is my last popcorn of the row, and here I have my 3 last stitches that I am going to work together in a decrease, in a 3 together decrease. So I begin to make a DC in the next stitch and leave it open without completing it. Then I start to make another one and left it unfinished. Then the last one, which is the third chain of the chain 3 that counted as first DC in previous row. So here, okay, this is unfinished. Then I yarn over and pull through all of those loops together and make my 3 together decrease. Okay, so always remember when you do the decreases, because you are going to decrease now all the way through until the end of the project, always remember to leave enough stitches at the end of the row in order to be able to make the 3 together decrease. So how do I proceed from here? Next row is a regular row in DC, in double crochet. So I begin as always with my chain 3 that counts as first DC. I turn my work and I need to make another 3 together decrease. So watch out, pay attention, because if this is my first DC, I need to start at the second one, and I need to insert my hook here, not here, because this is still part of my first DC. Okay, so don't make mistakes here. So second DC is here, unfinished. Third double crochet is here, unfinished. Then yarn over and pull through 3 loops together. Okay, and then I will proceed working in double crochet across. Remember to always and still work the increase here in the middle space, okay, while at the beginning and at the end of each row you will make a 3 together decrease until the end of the project. This means, I will show you here, the 3 together decrease at the beginning and at the end of each row creates a nice edge here, so that your work proceeds like some kind of rectangle on. Okay? And you should proceed as long as you need to or wish to, according to your own body type. You can from time to time measure it on you and see if the length is good for you to make a nice dress. Or you can also make a very simple top with this pattern. In this case, you need to measure it on you as well. Okay, so another important tip I want to give you is remember that the more you proceed, the nearer you go to the upper part of your body. So if you are afraid that the gap patterned rows may be too see-through for your upper body, then from a certain point on, just stop making the gap patterned rows, but just fill them in by choosing a simple double crochet row, so that there are no more gaps and no more see-through, and the piece is no longer see-through. Okay, if you wish and if you need to. For me, this is going to be the back part, so I left the pattern as it is with the gap patterned rows in it, and then I will show you how to proceed when you reach the desired length for you. Another thing I wanted to note is, when do you change colors? Well, you just work the balls as you find them until the end, and when you approach the end you just attach the next color. Okay, and as for the color choice, since I have my pack here, my midi baby cotton pack here, I just followed the colors as I found them in the package. So this was the first one, and I began with this color, and then I just followed the colors changes as I found them in the package, as I said. But you can also choose to vary and change them as you please. So 5 balls of this cotton should be enough to make a extra small or a small dress. If not, since you are finishing with a white or off-white color, you can also choose to buy single balls of the same yarn in that same off-white color, which is color 1, so that you can proceed as I've shown you, and when you're at the end, when you're using the white yarn, you can add yarn if you need to. Okay, so as I said, I will see you at the end of my length, and I will show you how to proceed from there. So here I have worked my second panel, and as you see, In this part here, I avoided the gap rows because this is the part that coincides with the bust, okay? And I've reached my total length of, in my case, 46 rows. This is the panel I need to finish, and this is the finished panel. So what we want to do now is we will no longer work in rows like this. We need to create this kind of base here on top, and in order to do so, we will work like this. So what I do now is I am going to work in rows only on the one side first, and only at the beginning, and then on the other side of this, let's say, triangle on top, okay? And this means I am going to keep on decreasing and decreasing only on this part of the triangle. So this was my last decrease of my full row, and now I will chain 3, turn, start with a 3 together decrease just like before. So 1, 2 and 3 double crochets uncompleted, not completed. Then I yarn over and complete them in one single stitch. Then I will work, in this case, in simple double crochet until the end here. So stitch after stitch, just work in double crochet. So in here I am approaching the top part of our dress, which corresponds to the chain 2 space we have on top. But instead of working our usual increases here and proceed on the other side, we will proceed like this, with another 3 together decrease, which will be formed like this. So 1 double crochet not finished, a second double crochet unfinished, and the third one we are going to work by inserting the hook inside the chain space. Make a third uncompleted double crochet and finish with a decrease. And now we will chain 3 from here, turn, and proceed our work in rows just on this side of the dress, of the triangle, let's say. We will begin just like before with a 3 together decrease. So like this, and we will continue, in this case, in simple double crochet until the end of this row, where we will make again a 3 together decrease. So in this way, if you work like this, this row, this part of the triangle will become smaller and smaller, thinner and thinner. So how many rows should you work there? This depends how wide you want to have the top part. This is going to be the top part of your dress that comes, should reach under your chin, okay, top of your torso, and go from, let's say, shoulder to shoulder, okay, with the neck in between. So in this case I worked up to, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows in total until I reached my desired length here. Okay, so this is what I will do here, and then you will repeat the same on the other side of the dress. So once I've worked my 5 rows here with constant decreasing until I reach my length here on the top, I will cut off yarn and do the same on the other side of the triangle of the dress. Okay, so I will see you when I'm ready with both parts, and I will show you what I mean, and I hope it will be clearer then. And then I will tell you how to finish the dress, add the straps, and how to sew the dress together, of course. So see you there. So this is what I meant, and I told you. I've finished here, and I made this base here as wide as the back panel, and as I told you, I worked 5 rows on this side and 5 rows on the other side, decreasing, making a 3 together decrease at the beginning and at the end of each row. This creates the base here, okay, this top thing here. Now what I will do is I need to sew both pieces together to create my full dress. So here I've just placed my 2 panels over one another with the back sides facing. You recognize the back side from the front side because the front side has all pattern rows in relief. Okay, you recognize it especially from the popcorn stitches. So I have my back sides facing, and now I will sew my dress together with simple single crochet stitches on the side here. So from this point to the bottom of the dress, and then the same thing on the other side, leaving of course the bottom part open and the part that corresponds to the arms here on top, and of course still on the top side under the chin, because we will then unite them with 2 straps. So just pay attention that the 2 sides coincide perfectly, so as not to miss any stitch. And this is why I will insert my hook here on the last 3 together stitch of my corner here. So here I will take my loop of yarn I left hanging on the other side and bring it inside and make a chain 1 to unite both pieces. Then another chain 1, and I will start working on the side here, trying to space out stitches as good as I can. You can also choose to use slip stitches to unite both panels together. It's up to you, or you can also choose to use a tapestry needle and just really sew both pieces together. I am using the white yarn, and I will proceed like this for the whole length of the side of the dress. And then when I come back, when I'm finished, I will show you how to create the straps on top of the dress. So here I am. I have already made 1 strap for my AQUA dress, which is done like this, and I will show you how to make the other one. This is about 8 centimeters long, and it's 4 single crochets for 12 rows, which makes about 8 centimeters, as I said, but you should try it on and see if it fits. So I'll show you how to make it on the other side. So here I had some yarn tail left from my decrease rounds here, so I attached my new yarn here on the side, so you know exactly where to start with your strap. So I insert the hook here on the corner right under the knot of my yarn, chain 1 and make a single crochet in the same space, let's say, and this is stitch number 1, and then I will make 3 more, 2, 3 and 4, here. Okay, and that's row number 1 already. Chain 1, turn, and proceed like this for 12 rows. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1, turn again. This was row number 2, so I'll proceed like this for 12 rows, as I said, and then I'll show you how to attach it to the other side of the dress. So here I have worked my 12 rows of single crochet, making my strap about 8 centimeters long, and now I'm going to attach it with slip stitches on the other side. So here, on the corner of the front part. Okay, so I'll attach it like this. I go inside my first single crochet again, and I go here in a space at the corner and make a slip stitch here, and then I proceed like this with slip stitches. So, and so. Then I do a last slip stitch outside of my strap, as I like to do, and then I make a knot and cut off yarn. And that's my dress completed. These are the straps, and this is the dress. Another thing I've added is a small border at the bottom of the dress in white, because I liked it like that. And this is it. I was very happy to share this project with you. I hope you like it, and see you next time. Bye bye.